I am Michaela Killebrew, and I am in Anatomy and Physiology, Bio 168. Today, I'll be dissecting a sheep brain for you. First, I will examine the exterior part of the brain. This right here is the right frontal lobe. This is the left frontal lobe. This right here is the right parietal lobe, and this is the left parietal lobe. Right here, you have the right optical lobe and the left optical lobe. On the bottom, you have the right temporal lobe and the left temporal lobe. This part right here is the cerebrum, and this part right here is the cerebellum, which is a small brain. Right here, this little thing is the spinal cord, and then you have this little thin layer of connective tissue. It's consisted of 3 layers: the pia mater, the arachnoid mater, and the dura mater. These layers are all called the cranial meanings. And once you do a sagittal mid-plane cut right here, you will see the longitudinal fissure. Now I'll be taking the cranial meanings off, which is this layer of connective tissue that's on the brain. Maybe I should cut it. It's kind of tough. This is what protects and supports the brain. I've gotten all of the cranial meanings off. So as stated earlier, you can see a better view of the longitudinal fissure, which is this deep groove that goes right here down the cerebrum. Now I will do a mid-sagittal cut right through the middle. Now I have done a mid-sagittal cut, which is a cut right through the middle of the brain. And then we have the cingulate gyrus, which is right here, is like the second layer of like connective tissue in the brain. And then we have the lateral ventricle, which is right here in this depression. And then you can tell it's the ventricle because it has the space for blood vessels to flow through. And then we have the third ventricle, which is right here. And then we had the tegmentum, which is right here. And then we'll go to the cerebellum right here, which is like, as I said earlier, the small brain. And right here we have the cerebral adduct, which is right here. And near the spinal cord, we have the fourth ventricle, which is right here. And you can also tell it's a ventricle because it has a little space in this area for the blood vessels to be able to flow through. Now I will make 2 frontal cuts. These frontal cuts will show you the basal ganglia structures. Here, as you can see, I have done frontal cuts, one right here and one right here. And right here, we have the corpus callosum. Along a little below it, we have the caudate nucleus. And then a little to the right, we have the putamen. And at the bottom is the anterior commissure. And this part right here, which was cut when I did the frontal cuts, right here and right here, is the hippocampus. This part right here is an important part of the brain. It helps you to remember things and retain information that you may have learned or seen.